9 of the Caffeinated Craft Mamas podcast. My podcast all about my knitting, crocheting, and bookish life in Southwest Missouri, where I live with my partner Richard, our 3 kids, and our dog. Today is Wednesday, August 30th, barely making it in there for the end of August, but we are all back in school, schedules have settled down, so I thought I'd go ahead and get a podcast done before September 1st because I'm going to be decorating for fall and making pumpkin bread and knitting all the fall things on September 1st. That is my tradition every year. So I have 3 finished objects, 1 finished crochet block for that Lord of the Rings blanket. I'm not calling it a finished object because I'll call it a finished object when the whole blanket is done. I also have some scrappy time to talk about and 3 whips that have gotten some progress since you've seen them last. So we'll get some admin stuff out of the way, and then we will go ahead and get started with the nitty-gritty things. If you would like to follow me on social media, please feel free to do so. I'm really only active over on Instagram. You can follow me at the caffeinated_craft_mama. I have also kind of started using a hashtag, which is the hashtag Caffeinated Craft Mamas podcast. Sorry that's so long, but it is what it is. I, of course, could not have chosen a short name. But yeah, if you guys are watching my video or you guys are getting inspiration from my videos, I'd love to see that on the hashtag. Also, if you haven't already, I would love for you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It just really helps me out and lets me know that, you know, there's a lot of people that are enjoying watching what I'm doing. We're up to I think 117 subscribers. That's pretty awesome that 117 people care about what I'm doing. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with our stuff. And sadness and also kind of cool. This is the last episode that will be in my current notebook. I have filled it, so I will get a new notebook for podcast notes starting next time. All right, so I have a new to me local yarn store. So she is new to the area and she brought her yarn store with her from where she lived. And I was fortunate enough to be chosen to do 2 sample knits for her. This is Mad Knitter Yarns. I believe I talked about her last episode. If not, I'll pop some photos in of her shop. And I finished 1 sample knit. Well, I finished both of them, but I've already turned 1 in. It was the Virginia Sleeper. This is by Jody Long, and I knit the 0 to 3 month size. So I'll pop the photo in here. I put it up on Instagram too. And it was just a fun little knit. It was very quick, very easy. I have some close people in my life who are having babies, so I will be knitting a few more of these, I believe. So you will see this pattern again. I also finished the 2nd sample knit, and I have not returned it to her yet. I'm planning on returning it to her tomorrow. Both of these patterns are from this book. This is from the lady I'm knitting for, Virginia. So, yep. And I knit, let's see what the name of it was. I don't remember. The Michigan Blanket. Yeah, Michigan Blanket. So it's just this cute blanket. Oops. It's got hearts all over it. It was a fun pattern. I will say I have never knit with this yarn before. So this yarn is Jody Long My Little Sunshine yarn. It's a 100% cotton fingering weight yarn that I held double to get the yarn weight that I needed. This yarn had a lot of knots in it. I probably wove in 10 or 11 knots in 4.5 skeins of yarn. So a lot of knots in this yarn, but that was probably my only complaint about it. It was a lot of fun. It's a fun pattern. It's just different enough to be interesting, but not different enough that you're going to get 20 rows in and realize, oh crap, I messed up. Sometimes I do that with heavily like lace patterns and things. I'll get like 20 rows away and be like, oh my gosh, I messed up back there. So this pattern was super easy. One of the other complaints I have is I had a hard time catching both strands of yarn. I hadn't knit holding double in a really long time, and so I would miss them and have to catch them on the way back across. But again, that's my own issue, nothing wrong with the yarn or the pattern. I will be also knitting a couple more of these, so you will see these again. You won't see them until November or December because I don't want the recipients to see how they ended up until they open them. So yeah, that was a fun sample knit. I'll be returning that to her tomorrow. Set that on the table over there. Sorry, we're a little jangled and messed up today. So I'm having to put things away in a different way than I normally do. Okay, I also finished one pair of socks. I should have finished like a bazillion pair of socks, but hey, small miracles, I finished one. So this is the yarn that I dyed at the beginning of summer, I believe. It was supposed to be a play on the Juliet Krause's new book cover. Didn't turn out quite like I wanted it to, but I still really like it. It really makes me think of spring with the bright greens and the blues and everything. So I'm really happy with it. I knit these on US size zeros. The gray is just something I had in stash. And I did my typical toe up, heel flap, and gusset. And I did a longer cuff than I normally do. I did 20 rows this time instead of 15. So we're going to try that out and see how I like it. We'll see. It's a little bit of extra work, but I think it's going to be worth it in the end. I have got to get my butt in gear on some socks, you guys. I've got 2 pairs of birthday socks that need to be done by the end of September. I've got 3.5 more pairs of Christmas socks that have to be done. I have my own pair of Christmas socks that's sitting over where I keep all my whips that have just been sitting there. My gingerbread socks, haven't touched them. So I've really got some knitting I've got to get done. And of course, then I have other projects I want to start too. So yeah, hopefully this will become a sock knitting podcast again, now that we have bus stop knitting. Okay, I have next up is a Lord of the Rings crochet corner to corner blanket that I'm working on for my cousin Dawson. He started college a couple of weeks ago, good Lord. So here is Frodo. He is finished. All the ends are woven in. So I will be starting Gandalf next. And I'm hoping to get Gandalf and probably Samwise pumped out pretty quickly. I would love to get caught up with the blocks being released, and I know she's released at least 2 or 3 more since I printed off these, so I need to get my butt in gear if I want this done by Christmas for Dawson. So yeah, it's a fun block and it's a fun pattern, and it's going to be a really neat blanket, and I think he's going to really like it. So those are my finished objects. I'm going to take a sip of water. The rest of my stuff hasn't gotten a ton of work, but I'm still going to talk about it because we all know if I put one stitch on something, I'm going to talk about it on here. Next up is my field day cardigan. It's in my Happy Little Yarns pumpkin spice latte bag. If you see her post that she has any of these for sale, I highly recommend picking them up. She's not going to be doing pre-orders anymore, so if you see a bag, grab it because they go fast. And this is in black yarn, guys. We've discussed this every time I pull this out. I'm so sorry. It's hard to see. Why in the world I thought knitting a black cardigan would be a good idea, I do not know. But we all know that I'm a bit of a glutton for punishment on occasion. So here we are. And look, I have a teeny tiny little sleeve. I have, I think 3 rows done of the sleeve. I got this picked up and knit last night while William was in the bathtub. So he plays after we get all our washing done. He plays in the tub and Mommy sits there and knits for a few minutes. And I really wanted to be able to pull this project out and show you guys I had worked on it. So I went ahead and picked up the sleeve. I am hoping to get the sleeves knocked out by the end of September. No way the whole project will be done, but I would really like to get at least the sleeves knit. This project will be done by the end of the year. Full stop, no jokes, this will be done. I brought this project with me from 2022, and it has been one of my longest languishing whips, and it just needs to get done. And I think part of it is because it's black yarn. I had a future knit that I was going to do for a beautiful pullover by Sosu Knits, and I'm going to have to rethink that because I was going to do one of the two colors in black, and I just don't think it's going to work out because I do not enjoy knitting with black yarn. So, big shocker, we'll probably switch to charcoal gray. Kind of my color anyway. Everybody knows I love a good gray, so it won't hurt my feelings any to switch that from black to gray. So, but yeah, there's my field day cardigan. We're getting there. It will be done, and I will wear it, and I will love it, and it will be wonderful. So we have a tiny sleeve. I am knitting the sleeves before I finish the body because I am hoping to be able to knit the body longer than is called for. It only calls for 3 buttons on the body and then 1 button at the cuff. I'm hoping to do 4 buttons in the body and 1 button at the cuff, but I wasn't sure how much yarn I was going to have. I've had this yarn in stash for a long time, so there's no way the dye lots would be the same. So I went ahead and decided to do the sleeves. Plus, I will probably have to shorten my sleeves. We've talked about this before. I got teeny tiny little arms. I'm not tall to begin with. I'm 5'3". But I'm pretty sure my wingspan is even shorter than I actually am. So I always have to shorten my sleeves anytime I knit any sort of pattern. So I will be working on that to get those shortened and then use every ounce of yarn I have left into the body. Okay, so that was my field day cardigan. Up next is the one Christmas sock I have finished. Y'all, I started these socks in like June, and I really wanted to have all like 2 or 3 pairs knit by August. Didn't happen. I just kind of lost my sock mojo over the summer, which is okay. It happens to me every year. It just gets so hot here. We're kind of in a coolish streak. We're in like mid 80s for like a week, which is awesome. But that happens to me every year. I get super hot in the summertime. It makes me nauseous, and I just don't want to touch anything that's yarn. So now that it's getting a little bit cooler, we'll have our second summer. Missouri always does this. We cool down a little bit. We'll shoot back up into the 90s and 100s, and then we'll have another cool down, and we should be good. So here is the one Christmas sock I have done. I haven't even started the second one. The only reason this sock got done was because I was teaching my mom how to do the fish lips kiss heel. That is pretty much the only reason any of my gift socks have been finished, is because mom wanted me to do the heel with her, so I had to hurry up and knit the sock to the heel so I could help her get her sock done. So I will cast on the second one of these, though quite honestly I will probably steal the needles out of here, put this pair on hold, and knit Alicia her birthday socks because her birthday is at the end of September, and I try really hard to knit my mom and my sister a pair of birthday socks and a pair of Christmas socks every year. They are both very knit worthy when it comes to socks, and they enjoy wearing them and enjoy having them, so I want to make sure that I get those done for them. Okay, now if you've watched this podcast for very long at all, you know that Richard has discovered a love of hand knit socks. For a long time he refused to wear them, and then he stole a pair of mine and fell in love with them, which is great. I love it. I really do. So I knit him a pair of socks for his birthday. I believe I showed those last episode. And I was trying to think of something I could do for him for Christmas. We typically do small stuff for each other. And we do bigger things for the kids. And so I got to thinking about it, and I thought, what is the one thing that brings him the most joy a box of socks. He would love if I knit him 4 or 5 pairs of socks. My goal is at least 4 pairs. I would love to be able to knit him more, but we will see, because I've got other gift knitting I've got to do. And I've got another sample knit that I've got to do. So we'll see how many I can get done. But I'm halfway through a heel, Fish Lips Kiss heel right now. This is just a colorway that I think my mom got gifted, and then she passed it on to me. The feel of the yarn makes me think it's Patton's Croy, just from how it feels. Typically when I knit him Patton's Croy socks, those are a little bit warmer, so I will knit those as longer socks that he can wear during the fall and winter. And then I ordered him some of the last of the Felici, and I will be knitting him some shorties in that. So like I said, my goal is to at least have 4 pairs of socks for him to open on Christmas. I was going to try to knit him another sweater. That will still happen, and he will still get another sweater, but I'm not sure that I could have it done in time for Christmas with all the other gift knitting that I plan on doing, as well as finishing Dawson's blanket. And honestly, I just think he'd love the box of socks more. So I will hide this back in my purse, because these are my when he's not around knitting, because I do enjoy him opening them on Christmas Day and not having any clue about what they look like. He knows he's getting socks, but he always gets really excited when he's like, when did you knit these? I'm always with you, and I didn't see you work on these. So makes me feel good, makes him feel good. So there you go. And that is the only, wow, okay. Those are the only whips that I really have progress on. Most of my time and energy went into those sample knits, as well as finishing up those socks. Plus, this last month has just been insane. August is always busy for us. It just is what it is. So that's pretty much all I've gotten done with those. I do have a little bit of scrappy knitting, well, scrappy crochet to talk about. Oh, I've got 2 of those. Okay, so I started a crocheted memories blanket. This pattern is by Hannah from the Cozy Cottage Crochet, and I put 6 new squares on here since you guys saw this last. So yeah, this is a fun pattern. I really enjoy it. I worked it out to figure out how many rows I needed to just use 5 grams of yarn. So that's what I've been doing. And then I do the other half or whatever's left as a small granny square. I have not crocheted any granny squares recently. With football season starting back up, whoop, whoop, we're almost there. I will have a little bit more leeway with Scrappy Sunday, because oddly enough, our football Sundays tend to be a little bit more chill. We sit, we watch the game. I usually make something for dinner in the crock pot, and it's just a lot calmer around here. Our Sundays during the summer tend to be a little bit more chaotic and hectic, and so we should have a little bit more chill time coming up, which is exciting. So hopefully this will get a lot of work, because I thoroughly enjoy working on this. And I've got a huge bag of scraps here. So, and funnily enough, these are all also in the Cozy Memories blanket that I finished. I haven't talked about this in a little while, but I am one of those that strongly believe in using every gram of yarn that I can. I try really hard not to throw any of my yarn away. If it is longer than my arm, it goes into my magic knot ball that I have going. I really try hard to be mindful, because a lot of these skeins aren't cheap. I've spent a lot of money on them, and I want to get the most bang for my buck out of these. Okay, wow, flew through that. So that is all that I have of the knitting and crochet stuff that I have to show you. I'm going to talk about a little bit of future knitting, and then we're going to talk about life and junk. Not a super long episode, but that's okay. I'm just glad that I'm getting to podcast today. So let me grab something real quick. Oh, this is one of my future knits. So if you were just here for the yarning content, we're going to talk about some future knitting and then skedaddle. But I will see you next month if you are done for today. Bye. Okay, so future knitting. Here's the deal. I have a trip coming up that I'm going to be going on the first weekend of Thanksgiving. So that week of Thanksgiving is the weekend before. I'm going to be going out of town, and you know, when you go out of town, sometimes you just need a new sweater to ride in the car. So I would really like to be able to knit the Traveler's Hoodie by Andrea Mowry. I am going to be turning in that sample knit, and I'm going to decide and see what she has that might work for that sweater. I have a light gray that I could knit the sweater with that's in non-superwash sport weight yarn. And I know we were saying that I was going to be really good and I was going to knit out of stash and everything. I'm a little nervous about it being non-superwash. It's still not something I have a lot of experience in, and I really don't want to knit this entire hoodie and then not like the results. So I'm going to look when I drop that off at the shop tomorrow. If I don't find anything that I think will work for that sweater, I have a couple of other sweaters in mind that I need stuff for. So the yarn obviously will get used, and then we'll swatch with that non-superwash and decide what we want to do with it. So yeah, Traveler's Hoodie by Andrea Mowry is coming up. Also, I should be getting the last of my yarn for my Ariana cardigan. I'll pop a photo in here. So my bestie, Melissa, made one of these, and she did it in fingering weight yarn. And so I am going to copy a little bit of what she did, but I have decided, because I'm extra, that I need a Christmas cardigan. It can still be really warm here at Christmas time. And I have a bunch of Christmas t-shirts. You guys know I have fall t-shirts, I have Christmas t-shirts. So I want a granny square cardigan to wear over my Christmas shirts. So I am going to do an Ariana cardigan in Christmas colors. Now, I also ordered some like amazing Grinch green. So I'm deciding whether I want to do traditional red, white, and green, or if I want to do red, white, and Grinch green, or if I want to do a combination of the two. So there's going to be a lot of fun with that, but I have some baby knits that I need to get done first and a few other things before that will get started. But I really think this is going to be a really fun project, and something that when I go back to the classroom will be used a lot and worn a lot, because I'm sure my kids will get a big kick out of it. And I am one of those people who 100% believe in being goofy at Christmas time. So I'm really excited about that. And my last future knit is actually going to be a pair of socks. If you are on Instagram, you have seen these socks before. They're the Granny in the Row socks. I do not remember the designer, so I'll put them right here. Several of my friends have knit these. So several years ago, Felici came out, or Knit Picks came out with a Felici colorway called Sally. And this is it. Richard found this for me. We found it on Ravelry, and he bought it for me. And it's just been sitting in my stash. And Nightmare Before Christmas is one of my favorite all-time movies. My kids watch it year-round. So I thought, how much fun would it be to do a Granny in the Row socks? I have 2 balls of this. A pair of Granny in the Row socks out of this. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to play around with it and kind of figure out what each granny square is going to look like, and it's just going to be so much fun. And these will be my Halloween socks for the year. I try to knit more than 1 pair of Halloween socks for myself, but with as far behind as I am on gift knitting, there will only probably be 1 pair this year. So yeah, those are hanging out in my Lila Styles bag that you all have seen a million times. And those will get cast on eventually, and that's okay. We'll get there when we get there. So yeah, that is all the future knitting that I have on deck that I'm pretty excited about. Let's see, life and junk. Some really fun things happened this month. William turned 5, so that was a lot of fun. And also, like, how in the world do I have a 5-year-old? We went to St. Louis. I'll pop a few photos in here of our trip to the St. Louis Zoo. We bought him passes. The St. Louis Zoo has an animatronic dinosaur exhibit there, so we got to go back through there and see all the cool dinosaurs, which, if you know anything about William is obsessed with dinosaurs. And we did all that and got to go with my in-laws, so that was extra special. And then we also had a birthday party for him at my parents' house. So he was blessed beyond belief, got some really cool new toys. And then last weekend, my friend Amber of Ambi Marie Knits, she's got a podcast here on YouTube, she messaged me and asked me what I was doing Saturday night for dinner. And I said, well, what do I need to be doing? And Nitty Natty, Natalie from Nitty Natty, came through our hometown, Springfield. And I got to meet her, so I'll pop a photo in here. They were coming through Springfield on their way to Lee Summit from St. Louis. It was really great to meet them. I got to meet Toaster, which was awesome, and I got to see their van. And I wish I could have gotten a photo with Toaster, but it was too dark because they didn't make it into town until late, which was totally fine. I get it. They were on the road all day. And if you have ever traveled between Springfield and St. Louis, the road construction through there is insane. There's constantly road construction and you constantly have delays. So, but yeah, it was really cool to meet her. She was super nice. And it was just a really neat experience to meet my first knitting celebrity. It was just very cool. And her husband were super sweet. They were super kind. And William got to go with me. Of course, he had no clue who she was, but he was really good and had a good time. So, yeah, that's pretty much all we've done. School's back in session. We're getting into our new routines. William is enjoying going all day to school. Jade's really enjoying middle school. Big changes in our lives with that, but it's good. Olivia is really enjoying her new school as well, and we will have her this weekend, so I'm sure we'll get to do some fun things with her. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I haven't done a ton of reading. I really need to, but I haven't. So I will hopefully have some new books to talk about next time. And that's pretty much it. Now I'm just babbling. So I'm going to go get this edited and hopefully have it uploading while Miss Grace is here this afternoon, so you guys can start watching it later today. So I hope you all are healthy, happy, and safe, and that you are getting some knitting time for yourselves. And I will see you at the end of next month. Bye.